or dare to speak the truth. Today is a very sad day. 43 minutes or so ago, George Zimmerman was found not guilty, acquitted in the death of Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was a 17-year-old boy who was shot and killed while walking back home February 26, 2012. July 13, 2013, a year and a half later, they found his killer, George Zimmerman, not guilty. This is a message to African Americans, black people. I'm just going to basically say what we need to do, what we should do, what we have to do. Number one, boycott. You're probably wondering, what should we boycott? First of all, everybody pretty much knows we are one of the biggest consumers in the world. We buy up everything and we own nothing. So this is what we need to do. Stop purchasing and buying things from the so-called enemy. Okay? They don't view us as humans. Our lives have no value. They sent Michael Vick to prison for fighting dogs, and he wasn't even the one fighting the dogs. The dog fighting was happening on his residence, and he still went to prison for a dog. Yet they let George Zimmerman walk scot-free after killing a 17-year-old unarmed young boy. Once again, we're being told that our life has no value. Stop buying from the enemy. Stop going to their stores. Stop worrying about when the latest tennis shoe is going to come out. Stop worrying about video games and cell phones and designer clothing and cars and all this other BS, where all you're doing is buying stuff that has no value. Because at the end of the day, you buy a video game, it won't even be considered new right after you buy it. You buy a car, it loses its value after the lot. And since our lives don't mean anything in this country, then why should we participate in this economic free market that allows the enemy to make money and stay rich and stay in charge, and ends up making us, the oppressed, poor, can't find a job, don't own anything, oppressed? Stop buying. Boycott. Now you're probably saying, well, we have to have food. Which is true. We do have to have food. We do have to have clothing. We do have to have shelter. Okay, that's true. But what I mean by, it's not necessary for you to have the latest iPhone. It's not necessary for you to have the latest designer clothes. It's not necessary for you to have the latest Lil Wayne or Rick Ross CD, album, mixtape, whatever. It's not necessary. If you don't need it to live, it's not a necessity to life, then you shouldn't be buying it. Boycott. Number two, for the blacks on YouTube, this gender war BS that we keep talking about, you need to get rid of it. You need to throw it in the trash. It needs to be put in the garbage because it's not important right now. Here we are, we got 17-year-olds being shot and killed, and you're sitting up here worrying about black women, black men fighting. That's the problem. That's what's dividing the community. That's what's dividing our race, our culture, our heritage. Throw the gender war crap away. Focus on coming together. Focus on unity. Because if we're ever going to get anything going, if we're ever going to be able to have a solidarity, a union, an organization, okay, where we come together and we fight for common causes, then we're going to have to get rid of the gender war BS because it's not important. It's time for black people to come together. It's time for black men and black women to come together. It's time for us to work together. This sitting up here talking about what she's not doing and he's not doing, that's not important. Number three, all of the coonery and the buffoonery has to stop. All this, I'm sagging, I'm disrespectful, I'm using a bunch of unnecessary slang and ebonics. I'm not presenting myself in a correct way. You're going to have to quit that. Because all they're doing, like they did to Trayvon, is stereotyping and profiling us. So when you come out here and you don't look a certain way, or you're acting ghetto, okay, if you're trying to be Lil Wayne or Nicki Minaj, they're stereotyping us. But then you're also, at the same time, we're being stereotyped regardless of what we got on, how we approach people, how we dress. We're being stereotyped as day one. It's time, number 4, it's time for us to fight for our rights. It's time to actually be about it. All this talking about what we should do, woulda, coulda, shoulda, it's time to actually do it. Put actions with your words. It's time to reinvest the money that we normally would be spending on the enemy's items. We need to reinvest that into our own communities. Support black business, okay? And black business, you need to support your customers and your consumers, okay? It's a two-way street. Don't be trying to scam your customers and consumers with out of control prices, okay? Both of us got to come together and work. Black people, if you have children or if you know of children, be a positive role model for that child. Because it's clear that we don't have the fathers and we don't have the mothers that we used to have. So if you see a child that's going down the wrong way, intervene. Try to help that child. Try to make sure that they have what they need to have a successful childhood life. Show some support. Show some encouragement. Also with the black YouTube, number 5, stop belittling each other. If you have a problem with another black person or another person that's black on YouTube, there's no need for you to be calling them all out of their name. Because once again, you're using the same racist mindset as the enemy when you go around calling each other the N-word. Stop using the N-word. If you can't stop using it, stop using it in public. Because it just looks stupid. If we're going to have any respect for ourselves, we have to show respect for each other and for ourselves and for our culture, heritage, and race. Okay? We have, number 6, self-respect. Have respect for yourself. Be proud of your heritage, your race, your culture, where you come from, where you want to go. Be proud of that. Respect that. Honor that. Love that. If you have an afro, nappy hair, kinky hair, it's your hair. Wear it. Stop being ashamed of being black. Stop being ashamed of having African ancestry. It's nothing to be ashamed about. Love yourself and love your people. All this shooting and killing each other has to stop. Okay, this disrespect, this hate for each other, it has to stop. We have a 17-year-old boy who was shot and killed. And his killer got away scot-free because we live in America, which is supposed to be the land of the free, but it's the land of the bullshit. So we need to come together. Because if we're going to ever get anything going for ourselves, we're going to have to come together and we're going to have to unite and fight for a common cause. Also, number 7, stop rallying and protesting with people that do not have your best interests at heart. Okay? Because a lot of us are joining bandwagons with other deprived groups, oppressed groups, minority groups. But when we're hit on the rock bottom, such as right now, we don't see all those other groups coming to help us, coming to rally and support us, coming to give us a push, help us, love us, care for us, support us. We don't have that with them. And before I end this video, if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything. So a lot of us need to start having pride, dignity, honor, self-respect for our culture, our race, our heritage, our bodies, our minds, our souls. Come together. If you don't get anything from this video, come together. Some of us are going to be angry. Some of us are going to riot. Some of us are going to protest. Some of us are going to make YouTube videos and Facebook statuses and tweet and Instagram posts. But if anything, come together. Love each other. Respect each other. Because the time is now. We have to get our rights. We have to protest. We have to boycott. We have to demand our rights. And we need to hold our president and his administration accountable. President Obama, what are you going to say about this? Are you going to go to Florida? Are you going to say something to Trayvon Martin's family? It's time for you to be held accountable. Yes, you're not the black president, but guess what? We voted for you too. And you haven't addressed us since you got in office. So guess what? President Barack Obama, it's time for you to be held accountable. Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin.